When you said that it was 12 inches wide but 2 miles down, and then on the floodplains there was the only measure you could make was height, and I'm just curious whether that depth and height, if you could just explore.
Yeah, I never. Well, I've never really looked at it as height. I've certainly looked at it as depth when I look at the 12-inch wide line, and actually several miles deep, because it's almost impossible. I remember there was when you go there to that line, there is a kind of irresistible desire to just put your foot across. Just you look around to see if anybody's watching, and then you just put your foot across and take it back in an instant. And that's it's strange, because you know how deep it is, you know how narrow it is, and you just have to do that. And
so the birds, in the end, there was this tragic floor-bound, gravity-bound dog, facing all these horizontal borders, and then these birds which could sort of traverse. What was that metaphor? They were so cruelly.
Well, see, in a sense, for me, it was a metaphor of the border. It was the metaphor of the map. It was a metaphor of violence.
The bird's eye view of it. So those are the map makers, the birds, the kind of.
Yes, and if you see next to that, just I think preceding that image was a watchtower, a security watchtower.
With a bird sitting on it.
A bird sitting on it, and you see usually the watchtower with a soldier sitting on it, and at the same time you have to deal with the fact that if you have a line. And if you electrocute the line, if you have a border that you electrocute, then the only way you can not be electrocuted is if you don't earth the circuit. So the only one who can not get a shock is a bird.
Is that the West sort of bombing the lines?
No.
Not so crude, huh?
No, and not crude, but not necessary. It's not about the West or the East. I think if you see the line, you see the ridiculousness. Yes, the line was made by the West, but the inability to deal with that line is ours. And that's again the reference that I made to the fact that as we grow up, we realize that we are continuously negotiating maps. We discover a map which your mother has put inside you. You discover a map that your father has put inside you. You discover a map of your city. You discover a map of your state. You discover a map of your principal in your school. And as you grow up, you discover maps and maps and maps, and each of those maps have an imprint inside as well. And you have to constantly keep on trying to understand it, identify it, and actually keep on trying to find a way out. And
so, is up the way out? Finally,
I think in is the way out. I always feel in is the way out, because the way out is in the opposite, in the sense that if you where you go, you end up in the opposite direction. So if you go in, you're likely to be able to go out.